Hello everyone. Welcome back to channel Nomad Explores. Today, Nomad will take you on a tour of a Canadian National Historic Site, located in Colwood on the south coast of Vancouver Island, just about 12 kilometers from Victoria, the capital of British Columbia. This historic site is Hatley Castle. If you find it interesting, please subscribe and share the video so more people can watch it. Hatley Castle, a historic landmark, is located on the grounds of Royal Roads University, about 50 minutes by bus from Victoria's city centre. You can easily find directions to the university by searching on Google Maps. After you arrive at the school gate, feel free to enter. You don't need to show any identification, as no one will ask for it. There will also be no security guards stopping you to check your entry and exit. Unless, of course, you do something wrong and are caught on security cameras. Nomad doesn't really know where Hatley Castle is located on the huge campus, but assumes that a castle has to be big and probably sits in the middle of a large garden. So, Nomad keeps walking straight down the path, glancing up at the sky, hoping to spot it. Royal Roads University is a public university, formerly the Royal Roads Military College. Initially, it trained naval officers and later Canadian Army and Air Force personnel. After the end of the Cold War in 1991, the college ceased its operations. However, it was revived following negotiations between the Ministry of Defence and the Government of British Columbia, resulting in the establishment of Royal Roads University in 1995. There's a totem pole here called Harmony. It was erected in September 2015 to mark the school's 75th anniversary and to honor the Indigenous people who studied together on their ancestral land. Totem poles are works of art consisting of one or more columns, carved with monumental symbols or images, commonly found in Western Canada and the northwestern United States. They are typically made from large trees, primarily red cedar, by Indigenous and Native American peoples in the Pacific Northwest coastal regions. According to Wikipedia, the carvings on totem poles can symbolize or commemorate ancestors, cultural beliefs, or significant events. Totem poles can also serve as part of some functional architecture, a welcome sign for visitors to the village, a funeral boat for the remains of deceased ancestors, or a means of publicly ridiculing someone. Contrary to popular misconception, totem poles are not worshipped or the subject of spiritual practices. The campus covers approximately 260 hectares, or 2.6 square kilometers. Despite its large area, Royal Roads University is a relatively small university, offering certificates, diplomas, and degrees ranging from undergraduate to postgraduate levels in over 70 programs. Currently, the university enrolls around 4,100 undergraduate and postgraduate students. After walking past several buildings, about a 10-minute walk from the entrance gate, Nomad arrived at a park. In the distance, Hatley Castle is faintly visible. Nomad guess it is Hatley Castle because the building resembles a castle. Furthermore, Nomad knows there is only one castle in the area. Therefore, it is definitely Hatley Castle. Now, Nomad will get closer to the castle to film a close-up view for you. Hatley Castle was built in 1908 by James Dunsmuir. Born in 1851 and died in 1920, he was an industrialist and politician in British Columbia. In 1898, Dunsmuir won a seat in the provincial legislature. In 1900, during a period of political turmoil, he agreed to serve as premier. However, 2 years later, in 1902, he was forced to resign due to allegations of conflicts of interest in the government's railroad policies. In 1906, he was appointed Lieutenant Governor of British Columbia, a position he held until 1909. The Lieutenant Governor represents the King or Queen of Great Britain in a Canadian province. At the higher federal level, this representative is called the Governor-General of Canada. Constitutionally, the head of state of Canada is the King or Queen of Great Britain, but in practice, the Governor-General of Canada is the representative. This appears to be the back of the castle. Now, let's go over to the other side and see what interesting things we can find. This is indeed the front of the castle. The castle overlooks a large, lush green lawn. A little further in the distance is the sea, or rather, a lagoon. As you know, a lagoon is a shallow body of water separated from a larger body of water by a narrow strip of land. Lagoons are a common coastal feature in many parts of the world. In 1907, Mr. Dunsmuir bought Hatley Park from a local landowner with the intention of building a retirement home for himself. But this wouldn't be just any typical family home. Mr. Dunsmuir and his wife envisioned a grand mansion where she could regularly entertain friends, while he spent his time fishing, hunting, and embracing the life of a wealthy, landowning gentleman. In 1908, Dunsmuir hired a renowned architect of the time to realize his baronial dream of a magnificent house overlooking the forest, the hunting grounds, and the working farm. Mr. Dunsmuir spared no expense, hiring over 100 builders, 25 fine carpenters, and 60 stonemasons to ensure the work was completed quickly. As a result, the construction of Hatley Castle took only 18 months. Inspired by medieval castles, Hatley Castle was designed to impress in every respect. The building, measuring 60 meters long, 26 meters wide, and 25 meters high, contained a total of 40 rooms. The surrounding walls, constructed from local stone, cost over $75,000. Given its size, Hatley Castle was the largest private estate on Canada's west coast at the time. In addition to the living space within the castle, Dunsmuir also hired renowned landscape artists to create green spaces around the castle. There are 3 main gardens surrounding the castle: an Italian-style garden, a Japanese-style garden, and a rose garden. The garden before you is the Italian garden. Completed in 1914, it is the most prestigious garden in Hatley Park. It sits next to Hatley Castle and overlooks the batting field. The garden is a rectangular space, surrounded by a hedge of boxwood and cypress trees that are over a century old. Flowering here is seasonal. In the warm summer months, the gardeners plant a variety of flowers, making the garden vibrant and colorful. However, in winter, the garden is left with only evergreen trees that can withstand the cold, making it as tranquil as other gardens. Now, Nomad will go inside to see if the garden is as luxurious as people say. This is another gate leading into the Italian garden. If you look further ahead, you'll see another gate. That's the main entrance to the castle grounds. There is a staff counter here. If you have any questions about the castle, the staff are happy to answer them. If you would like to join a guided tour, you can register and pay the tour fee here. Now, Nomad is heading to the Japanese garden. This type of garden features designs and styles that are characteristic of Japan. As many of you probably know, a traditional Japanese garden typically includes a pond, a wooden bridge crossing a stream, and other key elements. The Japanese gardens at Hatley Park date back to the 1910s and remain peaceful and tranquil to this day. The Upper Japanese Garden was the first to be built, designed by a Japanese-born garden designer, Isaburo Kishida. It is bordered on one side by a lake and divided by streams. In the garden, Mr. Dunsmuir planted many Japanese maple trees and cherry blossoms, imported from Yokohama. After visiting and enjoying the Italian and the Japanese gardens, following the guide, Nomad moves on to the remaining garden, the Rose Garden. Many different varieties of roses are grown here, in a wide range of colors. Red, pink, and yellow are all available. There are herbaceous plants and climbing roses. However, the weather is very sunny and hot, so the flowers don't look very fresh and are showing signs of wilting. Mrs. Dunsmuir must have loved roses, so she had this rose garden designed so that fresh flowers could be displayed in the castle every day. In Hatley Park, many trees and plants are grown that indigenous peoples commonly use for food and medicine. To help visitors quickly understand their uses, a machine is installed here. First, you turn the dial from 1 to 8 to select a type of tree. Then, you rotate the white section at the bottom to charge the machine. Once it is fully charged, the machine will tell you what type of tree you selected and explain its uses.
In bath water, it will relieve muscle pain.
Now, Nomad has returned to the starting point of the tour, at the back of the castle. From here, Nomad would like to share some information about the owners of this castle. Construction of the castle began in 1908 and was completed after 18 months. On May 1, 1910, the Dunsmuir family moved into the castle. Earlier in 1910, he sold all his businesses to retire and enjoy his beautiful home and hobbies such as yachting, shooting, fishing, and golfing. He passed away in May 1920 at the age of 69. His wife continued to live with their daughter in Hatley Castle until her death in August 1937. Their daughter also died 6 months later. For the next 3 years, the property was entrusted to a caretaker. In November 1940, the then Canadian government purchased the property for $75,000 to be used as a naval training facility. With World War II raging in Europe, the upper class stepped up to assume a much-needed public role. In this case, Hatley grounds and castle were transformed into a ship on land, becoming a training ground for junior naval officers. Between 1940 and 1942, over 600 volunteers completed accelerated 90-day naval officer training programs. These new lieutenants were assigned to escort ships, protecting convoys from submarine attacks as they undertook perilous voyages through the North Atlantic and later the Barents Sea. Over time, this basic naval officer training school has undergone several name changes. The school was last renamed in 1967 as the Royal Roads Military College. In February 1994, Royal Roads Military College announced that it would close the following year. In response to strong public support, and because the college had become an integral part of local life, the province of British Columbia began negotiations with the Canadian federal government to lease the property and facilities so they could continue to be used as a university. As a result, Royal Roads University was established in June 1995. In August of that year, Royal Roads Military College officially ceased operations, and its facilities were transferred to Royal Roads University in September 1995. Today, Hatley Castle serves as the administrative center of Royal Roads University, housing the offices of the President, Vice President, managers of finance and facilities, and other administrative staff. This brings us to the end of our tour of Hatley Park and Castle. Nomad hope you've enjoyed exploring its gardens, learning about its history, and discovering the stories that make this place so special. And now, it's time for Nomad to say goodbye to everyone. See you again in the next video.